So many of you guys actually commented on my last video in which I went over information in this similar format. Essentially what I did is I went onto Fortnite.gg and I explained a concept. In that video, it was dead side. In today's video, it's going to be something else. But a bunch of you guys said you liked that format style of video, and today I kind of want to replicate it. So in today's video, I just want to go over the idea of map control, what map control is, how you can get map control, and some demonstrations showing you what it would look like in a certain zone. So let's say, if you're going to be starting off right here, let's say that this is going to be the second zone of the game. It's going to be around that big, and it's going to be kind of located right here in the center-ish of the map. I'm going to change this into a kind of sort of red color just to show you. Now, let's say that the zone after this is going to be located right around here. Let's say it's around that size. Let's say it's located right here, and let's say I'm going to change the color over to a blue color. So obviously I'm going to highlight out where the dead side and the congested side of these two zones are. So let's say that in this storm circle right here, this is going to be the congested side of zone. So this area right here, actually let me redo that. Let's say that it's going to be all right here. This side of zone is going to be congested, obviously because of the reason that I went over before. Congested side is going to be located towards the center of the map. Dead side is going to be located towards the edge of the map. Let's say that this side right here, this is going to be dead side right here. That kind of makes sense. It's kind of logical, makes sense in this certain situation. So when you're in this situation, guys, I want you to understand a couple of different things about how you're actually going to be rotating throughout the map and trying to get map control. So let's say this is the dead and congested side. I want to go over the idea of map control in this situation. So obviously there's two things that make up primarily good map control. That's going to be elevation, and that's also going to be line of sight. So what I mean by that, guys, is that if you get on top of a mountain that's facing the congested side of zone or facing the dead side of zone, that's going to give you a lot of map control. And also the third thing, this isn't as much of a big factor, however, it still is really helpful sometimes, is how early you get there. Because oftentimes in terms of map control, it's first come, first serve. Whoever gets there first has the most amount of map control. So for example, I want to mark out certain hills in this area that I think would give really good map control for players in this situation. For example, number one is going to be right around here, right next to, restored reels. It's right there. It's in the center of zone. It's in the center of the zone after that. It's a really good place to sit and wait for people, and a really good place to actually get map control. Now, if you guys don't know, map control is generally the influence that you have on the place around you in the map, how many lines of sights you have on them, how much storm surge tags you can get on them, how easily you can rotate out of the area, how easily you can get eliminations in the area, pretty much how powerful is your position on the map. Now, what I mean by that, guys, let's say you're on this hill right here, right next to restored reels. This is a really good spot for a lot of people because you have lines of sight onto the total amount of underworld biome and all these train tracks down below you, but you also have a good amount of line of sight onto this area over here. It's pretty easy to see around. You guys can see back over here towards Reckless Railways. You can see in your fencing fields. There's a bunch of different options for you guys here. Now, in terms of how people can get that map control, like I said, this is going to be the congested side of zone. So if I zoom out here, as you guys can see, this is going to be the congested side of zone, and everybody's going to be rotating down over this way. Everybody's going to be rotating this way, this way, this way, and they're all going to be centering around this side of the zone. Now, I know that's a little bit confusing. However, what that means is that all these people are going to be trying to get to this hill first. But the thing is, a lot of them are going to be getting into fights, engagements around these areas. They're going to be congesting each other. It's going to be tough for them to get to the place. So the first way to get good map control, rotate to the dead side, or better yet, land on the dead side of the map. That means try to land near these edge POIs. Try to land places where it's less likely for you to be contested. If you pull close zone, it's way easier for you to get map control in those situations. Now, like I said, if you're on dead side, what you could do is you can easily rotate early. You guys can easily get to a really good power position and get a lot of map control. But like I said, you're only going to be able to do that if you're not going to be getting in too many engagements near the edge of the zone, not going to be getting in too many fights near the edge of the zone, and the best way to do that is to land somewhere low-key and rotate dead side. Now, like I said, that's the best way to actually get map control in these early game zones. Let's go on to more of an end game zone situation. As you guys know, during the end game, there's going to be stuff like there's going to be obviously high ground is going to be the most map control position. That's the best way to get map control. But let me just show you if there's one of the not super late moving zones, or if it's one of the earlier zones and you're just trying to kind of get map control in that situation. The best way to do that, guys, I'm going to draw a little zone right here, right over this area. Let's say that it's purple, and then I'm going to draw another one right on top of it. Let's say that this one's going to be yellow. So I'm going to edit this, move this right there. That's a really good spot for it right there. And what essentially I'd recommend you guys do, let's say that this is going to be the congested side of zone. Let's say the congested side of zone is right here. This is the super congested side, and that's just generally where everybody's going to be. Honestly, in these zones, it's tough to find a dead side. If I were to pick one, it would be right around here in this little corner. This is going to be the dead side. However, it's really unlikely for people to find it there. Now, The best way to get map control in this situation is probably going to be, like I said, on elevation. So the most elevated position in this zone is going to be that hill, and it's going to have the most line of sight. Obviously, people could say this hill as well, but also this hill is closer to the zone after that, so that's why people are going to be more focused on getting to this hill that I circled first. Now, the best way to get map control in endgame zone, guys, this is when most people are based up. Most people are going to be really focused on trying to get high ground, trying to stay alive to the end of the game. Now, truthfully, if somebody already has high ground and they don't pull zone, what you should do is rotate to the highest elevation position, the earliest in the next new zone, and then try to base up immediately. However, if somebody pulled zone over here, they're going to be very quickly getting the high ground. If they're smart, they're going to be building up. They're going to be knowing, hey, we can get map control here. Let's build up. Let's get into a good position. But if that's not the case, what you and your teammates should do, rotate to the next zone, which this is going to be the yellow zone in this situation. Rotate to the following zone and try to base up on the highest position, the earliest. That's the way to get map control during endgame. Get to somewhere at a high elevation really quickly and really early in the zones. Now, in general, that's the endgame tip that I have for you guys, but as an overall premise of what I'm trying to say about map control, regardless of whether it's an early game zone or a late game zone, map control is truthfully one of the best ways to actually succeed in your positioning and rotation aspects. It makes every aspect of your game regarding game sense and IGLing way easier. I think it's one of the most important aspects that people seem to overlook about the mid and even the early end game. It's a really important aspect. Make sure you guys dial it in. And what I would leave you guys off with definitely is 3 primary things. Remember, map control involves how early you get to a place. It involves how much elevation you have and the lines of sights and ability to see and tag and damage other players and control what they're doing. That's what map control is, and that's how you guys are going to achieve it, by following those 3 tactics. Guys, that is the video on map control. I hope you all enjoyed this format. Let me know once again if you do like it. But that is about it for this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.